Hello and welcome to Culturally Distressed. This is our podcast when we talk about all things culturally distressed. So we explore cultural differences and how we feel about them. I'm one of your two hosts. My name is Loic Pichot. I'm a French American gay millennial. I work in corporate and I'm also a comedian. So there's a lot of different culture that I'm exposed to, which lead to interesting situations that we'll talk about. And I'm co-hosting with my wonderful co-host, Miyoko Sakatani.
Hello, welcome. And I'm Miyoko Sakatani. I'm a second generation Japanese American or Nisei. And, I'm a straight baby boomer. And I've had culturally distressed moments like all my life.
And I think at the end of the day, it's okay. We are all a little bit culturally distressed. So Miyoko, to kick us off, how is your week? What's new with you?
Wow, it was a busy week actually.
Yeah.
But the one of the exciting things that came up is I have an opportunity to choreograph a little skit I'm going to do with a friend. We're going to do a little burlesque number.
Oh my God. Okay. So wait, I did not know you were doing burlesque. Is this your first time?
Actually, I sort of did a mini burlesque, but yeah, I'm going to do the full corset and the net
Ooh.
stockings, and yeah, and so anyways, I'm just formulating the concept. So, but I think it'll be fun because we're both up there. So, I think it's going to show that it's never too late.
I absolutely love this. Where and when is this gonna happen?
Oh, there's a couple of I'll share more about that later when we get an actual
Oh
gig
my
going.
God.
But
I'm sure.
I was also thinking, if you and I are thinking of doing like a little comedy sketch thing, I could incorporate that little routine in there too.
I mean, I obviously love burlesque, coming from France.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm picturing your husband Rich in the audience being like, that's my wife on stage.
Yeah, he will definitely. He's my biggest fan, and anyway,
So, wait,
it,
have you ever done like any dance or anything like that?
no, not professionally, but I consider myself a dancer.
Okay, well, I love that.
Yeah,
What
I do a variety of dances. I did modern dance in school. I did some hula, uh,
nice.
some jazz, and so yeah, I am. Every time I'm auditioning for an acting gig, I always say I move well.
Um, that's great. That's better than most people. I love to dance. I have a lot of fun dancing, but I don't think I'm the best dancer, unfortunately. But I actually went to like a dancing class a couple of weeks ago in LA, just for fun. And it's with this amazing teacher. And what she teach is actually like choreography from like pop music videos from
Oh yeah,
the 2000s. So I
yeah,
went there and we did Oops, I Did It Again. And I had the time of my life. I really,
good.
felt like I was a background dancer for Britney Spears.
That's great. Okay, so what's happening with you? How was your week?
My week is good. Lots of editing. As you know, I'm launching my project very soon, so there's a lot going on there. But I also had a really nice dinner. I I try to organize every few months like a date we've never done before, like something we've never done.
That's cool.
Just to keep it, yeah,
Yeah.
fresh and new. So last year, what did we do? I mean, we went to cooking class. That became kind of like our anniversary thing. I took him to a Ninja Warrior class in LA once, which was a lot of fun. What else did I do? I feel like I'm missing something. But another thing, but this time I was like, oh, let's do like a nice dinner. So we actually went to like a farm to table thing. It was 1 hour from LA. and it was really nice. It was on a farm that's regenerative, organic, and you could like pick up like vegetables and fruits. So before dinner, we actually had 1 hour to just like walk around the farm and pick up like anything we wanted. We had 2 bags, and it was basically like anything you can carry, you can take.
Oh,
Um,
that in the Central Valley, but Fresno
it
area?
was north of LA, yeah. So it was in Fillmore.
I feel more.
The I forgot the name of the farm. I think IRA. I'll put it in the note of the podcast if anyone is interested. But highly recommend. It was great, and then it was a dinner outside al fresco, and it was maybe like 30 people.
Good.
And yeah, it was just great. The food was amazing. It's really like a passion project from this couple, and they're like very talented. The food was amazing. We really had an amazing time. But what's really funny is that, like you meet a lot of people, so we start chatting with everyone, and
Yeah.
then we realized that we kind of like made friends with these two women who were there. They were like super cool, super fun, and of course they were lesbians. So it's always funny when there's like the queer community thing and just get along sometimes. So yeah, we had a lovely time.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I'm trying to think of a transition for our main topic, but I don't think there's a smooth transition for what we're about to talk about. So let's just dive into it.
I talked about burlesque.
You talked about burlesque. True, 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 true. So I actually love that. On the topic of burlesque, Miyoko Sakatani, I have a very important question for you that I was curious to hear.
Uh-oh.
In your family, did you have the sex talk when you were like a teenager? Like,
Hmm.
was it something we were talking about? Was it something that was, shameful? Like, how was it? Like, 'cause it was also a different, time, obviously, right? So, and your parent coming from a different culture. Yeah, I'm just curious to hear about all of that.
Yeah, well, that's a very interesting topic for me because my parents were first generation Japanese Buddhist immigrants.
Oh,
And
okay.
not only were they Buddhist, but they were also very, very inhibited, very traditional Japanese to me. They're from the countryside, so they weren't exposed to a lot of stuff. So I
Mhm.
was raised in a very, very sheltered and inhibited environment. So there's nothing even close to a sex talk, or there was no.
Mhm.
There was a very subtle information of a very subtle, you know, th- things that we were getting that it wasn't okay. Uh,
Mm.
but did my mother ever have a talk with me? Or absolutely not. So um, and we didn't hug. There was no intimacy, hugging in the family, and that was tradition. It wasn't
Mhm.
like I never felt deprived. It just was
Okay.
something we weren't used to. But you always felt very loved and very cared for. It came with the actions,
Yeah.
uh, and so there wasn't a lot. There was no physical touch. Um, Sex was never ever mentioned at all. So yeah, that's I was very sheltered, and
Hmm.
so for my whole life I was pretty much intimidated and fearful. But
Yeah.
now listen. So I grew up in the '60s. Okay,
Yeah.
so the '60s was this whole movement, the whole free sex and let it all hang
Yeah.
out environment. So I got caught up in that, and
Okay.
I was part of it, but yet I didn't participate because I had so much fear.
Mm.
And
Okay.
I wore the mini skirts and I wore the sexy outfits and everything.
I've seen the pictures.
So I came across like I was really involved in it, but when it came down to the actual thing, I shied away from everything. So
Interesting. So
yeah.
I wanted to ask you because I'm familiar with like the high level concept around Buddhism, but I'm actually not familiar with like what is like Buddhism stance on sexuality.
Oh, I think it's always the whole it's part of the whole Japanese environment, which is very reserved.
Okay.
So it's not like something that's ever really talked about. It's just that you're very modest and very reserved. I remember
Mm.
one time I went to a Japanese restaurant, early on when the Japanese restaurants first started coming out. And we were in the waiting room, and this white guy and I were embracing and hugging. And oh my God, the owner of the store the Japanese owner just came over to us and just gave us a dirty look and said, no, no.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so that's sort of the way it is. You're just very modest, very reserved. You don't outwardly show anything.
Mm. So I imagine, yeah, you are not the kind to, yeah, I mean, let me rephrase my question. Like, yeah, I imagine your parents were also not bringing up to you, like, like, do you have a boyfriend kind of question to, ask about your personal life, right? It's something that was not talked about.
No, I actually had to sneak out through my whole school years, no, my high school.
Sneak out, so you were like climbing out the window?
No, I would leave through the front door, but I would say I'm going out with my girlfriends.
Oh,
I would either meet the guy somewhere, or a girlfriend would actually pick me up, and then she'd take me over to where the guy was.
so you had a high school boyfriend.
Yeah, and I had to sneak out. For two reasons, I had to sneak out. Number one is because that would be something that I would never share with my mother,
Yeah.
is that I was going out with a man, a boy.
Mm.
The other thing is I dated primarily non-Asian boys,
Okay.
non-Japanese boys, so that was totally against the tradition.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so no, I never talked about my boyfriend or anything like that.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah, it seems like a weird environment, and it was when I compare myself to my friends and how their
Yeah.
parents were and stuff like that. So I did feel like there was something wrong, and I think that's why I went through so much anger during my high school years, is because I was so resentful towards my mother, because
Mm.
she wasn't like my friends' parents.
Okay.
I do mention my mother a lot because my father was quiet and reserved, and he was totally sort of out of the picture when it came to raising the children. It was
Okay.
it was all my mother.
Well, you were talking about the mother, and fun fact about me, I actually had the sex talk from my mother.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah. So
Maybe
I
wait to
was
hear this.
I was 17 and I was about to go on a camping trip with my college friend. I was about to turn 18. Yeah, I graduated high school in at 17 because I was 1 year in advanced. Um, and not because I was smart, by the way. Okay, side story on that, and we'll
Okay.
get back to the sex talk.
Okay, but let me.
I
Were you out then or not?
Oh no, 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 no. I was not out at all. Not even to myself, I feel like.
Okay.
But so I jumped a class when I first went to school because I grew up in such a small village in France. We were like 160 people where I grew up.
Wow.
And I was the only kid born in 85. So when I went to school, they put me in a class with like the three kids born in 84. So that's kind of like why I jump a class from the get-go. And then so it said this when I graduated high school at like 17, where in France usually you graduate when you're 18. So I was already in college by then, but we were gonna go with my friends on a summer trip. We're gonna go camp on the Atlantic coast. And so my mother, before that trip, sat me down and told me, Loic, I hope you're not gonna have sex, but if you do, wear a condom. And that was it. And I think to me it was so funny that my sex talk started with, I hope you're not gonna have sex, which is
Had
so
you
yeah.
had you had sex before?
No, but because I have a spirit of contradiction, I guess. Well, is that a saying in English, by the way?
What?
To have a spirit of contradiction?
I've
Uh,
never heard. I've never heard
Okay,
it.
no, so I'm translating from French. Sorry. It's basically when you like
I like that.
contrarian, I guess. Yeah. You want to go against the grain, I guess. So yeah, so I actually lost my virginity on that trip because I guess
You did. You wore a condom.
yes.
Did
So I
she give,
think
by the
yes.
way, did she give you the condom or?
Uh oh shoot, I forgot. Oh my God, no, I think oh my God. I think I asked my best friend to bring some because I know my best friend was sexually active and I couldn't go to like a pharmacy, especially like in a small town next door. I feel like I would have been recognized or I just like I also like couldn't drive. In France, you have to be 18 to drive. So I actually had no access to
Oh, really?
buying condoms. Yeah. So yeah, so as my friend, I think that's what happened.
But you
Or did
listen,
she bring it? I forgot. Yeah.
but you listen to your mother. I'm proud of you.
No, I didn't. Oh no, I did for the
Yeah,
condom thing. Yeah.
you tell them. Oh, yeah, but you had sex when she said it. Well, no, she said if you're going to have sex. No, she said don't have
I
sex.
said, I hope you're not gonna
I hope
have
you're not
sex.
going to. But
Yeah.
if you did, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so I guess it was a half efficient sex talk, I guess.
So if
Um,
we're gonna talk about sex, are you gonna talk about when you realized what your sexuality was?
yeah, so it took me a while because like I didn't grow up in a, very like gay friendly environment, coming from the deep French countryside.
Mhm.
Um, so there was just no real example. It was just like not really talk about, or if it was talk about, it was always, to make fun of. So, um, to be honest, like I really struggled with coming out, and I was not out at all up until I was 21. When I first, like admitted to myself and then start coming out to my friends and family, and that took me like many years to actually be fully out.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had girlfriends back then when I was in, high school, early college. I would say though, I had the most beautiful girlfriends. And when I hear people who are, homophobic, I want to say to them, be careful what you wish for, because if you force me to not live my best life, I'm gonna get a beautiful woman that's gonna choose me over you. So be careful what you wish for, because all the gay men, we can get the most beautiful women. But
The fact that we both came from the deep countryside, I think, has a lot to do with the views on sexuality.
yes.
But the other thing is,
Oh,
you
yeah.
mentioned 21 as being the time, and I was 21 when I was still a virgin, and I was
Oh, okay.
21 when I stopped being a virgin.
Okay.
That was my first experience with sex, and that was in the 60s when everybody else was having sex, early.
More casually. Yeah.
I was
Interesting. Well,
I was the last one to do it.
yeah, I feel like so okay, so can I ask you then, was it like a slow process for you, or was it more like an impulse to be like, I'm gonna lose my virginity, if you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it was. I knew I had to do it. I knew I wanted to do it,
Yeah.
and I had some pretty heavy makeout sessions. I was ready. Let me put it
Okay.
that way. I was ready to do it. So I needed birth control pills. That was a big thing back then.
Ah, right, back in
We
the
thought of,
day.
we thought of venereal disease.
Yeah.
It was about getting
So
pregnant.
was it easy to actually get to get the pill, or like you needed to go to a doctor, right?
Yeah, there's a story behind that, but I don't want to get into that right now.
You know, I'm gonna ask you one day.
Okay, okay. So my past life, I was a registered nurse.
Right, yes.
So I was a nurse, and I was 21, and I was ready. So one of the doctors who came in, who wasn't an OBGYN doctor, he was a pulmonary specialist, a lung specialist.
Oh, okay.
And I was sharing with him. I says, can you write me a prescription for birth control pills? And he says, sure. And he had to look up in the book. He had to look up
Okay.
what kind to get and what the dosage is. And
Yeah.
I said, oh, thank you. And then as soon as he gave me the prescription, he said, you want to go out Friday night?
Oh wow, he was really trying his shots.
He wanted to be the first. and,
So wait, did you actually end up going
and
with him?
he was, yeah.
Well, it worked. That's
Oh,
amazing.
that's funny. Anyway, the things I did, I swear to God. But after I think you're supposed to be talking about your sex thing, but as soon as I came out of the box, I went crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was promiscuous, as they say.
I feel like we all go through phases in life, and I think sometimes you just need to get it out of your system. And I feel like growing up in more, conservative environment,
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes there's a backlog in a way that just piles up, and once you get, you go all the way. For me, it was after my divorce that I went a bit crazy.
Oh yeah, that happens too.
Yeah, I wasn't as crazy actually when I was in my 20s, and I got in a pretty serious relationship very fast actually. Um, After my first few, gay experiences. So, yeah, I met my first husband which is my ex-husband now,
Yeah.
when I was 24. So
Wow.
yeah, still babies back then.
You guys
But yeah, but I,
you guys were
what
together
was,
for a while.
yeah, 13 years. I think for me, I, I think I, I just, I kind of like did it on an impulse. Like I have this personality sometimes. I think I used to have. I feel like now, because I'm more aligned with the person I want to be, I'm much more balanced. But I
Hmm.
think back then, because I knew that I wasn't living the life I wanted to live,
Yeah.
I I had this kind of like personality trait when like I would make a decision and it needed to happen right now. Like and I've done this a few times on,
Yeah.
artistic stuff or like personal stuff. And I remember I was so back then I've been living in Paris for a year, and usually I always had like friends around, but for some reason I think it was like a school break. But I was staying in Paris because I had like other friends joining me from my prior school anyway. And so I actually realized one night I was like, for the first time, single and by myself in Paris. And I was like, tonight's a night. I need to figure it out. I need to know if I'm actually attracted to guys. So I'm gonna go to a gay bar. And yeah, 21-year-old Loic went to a gay bar. Well, actually, my God, it was still like it was internet, but it was still like early days. So I feel like, and I guess I didn't want to have any like gay search on my internet, I guess. So, but I knew like a few places with like, the rainbow flag. And I'm like, I'm gonna go there. Except that I did a mistake, which is that I thought that I was going into a gay bar, and I actually ended up going to this place that I genuinely thought was a gay bar, and it was a gay sex club in a way.
Oh.
And I was like, the naive gay and especially I was like, oh shoot, this is not for me. But it was happening in like private places, so I didn't, had to be exposed to it. I just went to the bar, had a drink, had a lovely chat with the bartender, and went on my way. Um, and so then I went to a gay bar, like a regular gay bar. And I actually remember I made friends with this girl. We hit it off, start dancing with her and a friend. And yeah, and I made out with one of her friends. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm gay. But it all came from like being alone by myself and being like, I need to know if I'm gay tonight, and just going out in gay Paris,
Was that
which is kind of wild when
was
I
the
think about
girl
it now.
Was the girl a lesbian?
No, she was a straight girl with a ton of gay friends.
Uh,
You know the kind.
yeah, yeah.
We love them. We love our straight
Yeah.
allies.
Yes, so I'll tell you about my college years. Maybe not today, but yeah. So I
Okay, okay.
hung out at the gay bar, and I poured beer for the college students, and
So did you have like a lot of gay friends?
yeah, got connected through my sister, who became best friends, and then we traveled together. And Acapulco, we went to Acapulco and Mexico City.
So was Acapulco a gay
Oh my
place?
God!
Oh, really? I had
During
no idea.
it was during the holidays, like Christmas time.
Okay.
It's like the entire beach were gay guys in Acapulco.
Oh, for
But
Christmas, you say?
Christmas time, we're talking about a few years ago, though.
Inter-
I don't know if it's still happening now, but anyway. So the friend opened up a bar in the valley on Ventura Boulevard, the Tropics, it was called. And
Okay.
so I used to help out there, and I just had so much fun, and I'd make out with all these guys too.
Oh my God. I love that. This
And
is
so
so
that brought
funny.
back memories when you said you were making out with the girl, because I used to make
Yeah.
out with the guys there too. It
Oh,
was
no,
so
no, wait. I didn't make out with that girl. I made
oh
out with a friend, a gay friend.
oh oh
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. No, no, I was determined that night to figure out if I was attracted to guys.
Stayed at a villa, and the villa were all gays at the villa, and I met a gay prostitute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Who
guess that was the thing.
I don't even know if he was gay, but he went on a trip with this older man, and that was he
Uh,
was paid. All the expenses were paid, of course. So he,
okay.
he was sort of a prostitute. Now, whether he was really gay or not, I don't know. But he made out with me,
Oh, so maybe it wasn't gay. Yeah, I think it was what we call a gay for pay.
a gay Fort Bay. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's straight men who will do this kind line of work, and also like straight men who would do like gay porn. We
Right.
call them gay for pay. Yeah.
Okay. I met
Yes.
I met one of them. Okay. Oh, it was so
You
much
made out with one of them. I love
incredible.
this.
We were walking on the beach in the tropical beach, and there's making out, and I didn't have to worry about anything. It was great.
Oh, Miyoko, you've lived the life. And you're still living the life.
I'm still living the life, absolutely. Oh my gosh. I got stories.
Oh, this is
Stories. Okay, so
amazing.
this is part one, and we'll have to
Yeah.
do part two some
Yeah.
of
Well, okay. Well, that's a teaser for all our listeners out there. Miyoko has more stories to share about
oh
her
I'm sure you do.
troublesome youth.
I'm sure you do too.
Oh boy, yes. But yeah, I feel like we've shared enough about ourselves in this episode. Thank goodness, my parents don't speak English, so I know like they're not gonna listen to that. It's that, Cardi B. I saw an interview of Cardi B, and she was like, she does her interview in English because her grandparents, I think, don't speak English, only Spanish.
Oh,
So she can be more like authentic and a little bit wild, which I think it's a theory too that people have different personalities in different languages when you speak multiple. I do feel like my English spoken Loic is a bit more wild. It's also because I've fell into comedy, I feel like, in the US, but I don't know, I can feel I speak more easily about those things. Do you see a difference in your personality, I guess, when you communicate with some of your relative in Japanese versus how you behave in English?
there's a big contrast.
Okay,
Oh yeah, definitely.
interesting. Do you think, I think it's time for us to move on to the next segment of our
Yes.
podcast,
What is
which is culturally distressed moment. I love this segment. I think it's so much fun. Do you want to start? I'd love to hear your cultural distress moment, Miyoko.
Okay, well, there's many. I have many, many, many stories, but I just shared about my birthday uh,
Hmm.
last
Happy birthday again. Happy belated birthday.
and our anniversary. The
Yes,
month.
congrats.
But what came up for me is something that I shared last time, and that was, what did I do on my birthday and what did I do on my anniversary? And
Hmm.
I mentioned something about, well, the day of is not important to me.
Yeah.
Uh, and so what I connected it with, and I know this is true, when I was growing up, now whether it's because of the Buddhism, I don't know. When I was growing up, and all my siblings, when we all grew up, we there was never any birthday parties. There was
Oh,
never
okay.
any happy birthday. I mean, happy birthday is a very Western thing.
Yeah.
Um, and so there was never any birthday parties. There was never any cake. There was never any, big presents. Um, it was never celebrated in a big way. And
Hmm.
when I think back on it, I don't think back, oh, poor me. I never thought that way. It just was natural to us not to do
Yeah.
that. Um, and so I never felt deprived, but I also feel like that's probably the reason why I don't make a big deal about holidays, the day of the holiday. It's never been anything
Hmm.
special to me all my life. And so it still isn't.
That makes sense. At the end of the day, I think like if you know, live your life celebrating. You know what I mean? It's like you don't need those special. I think, and we talked about this, right? You are like, you guys in your marriage, you show your love each day, right? You don't need an anniversary in a way,
Yeah,
a big anniversary. Like, it's just like a daily practice, which I love this concept so much.
yeah. So all through the year, well, if we buy something special for us or the house or something, we'll say, "Oh, that's our anniversary present," or Christmas present or birthday present. We just whatever we buy that it pleases us. It's like, oh, there's my Christmas present. Oh, that's my birthday present. Or that's our anniversary.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah,
That's very cute.
yeah. But we did on our 10th anniversary. We did go on a cruise. Our 10th anniversary. We went on a 10-day cruise to.
Where?
Oh, that was to Mexico. Was that?
Nice.
Yeah, the Mexican Riviera. And during that cruise, Richard was coming down with some kind of stuff. So he was pretty much in bed for 10 days.
Oh
And so
no.
that's another example of us not celebrating our anniversary.
So even when you did try to celebrate, the
That's right.
universe was
That's what
like, nope.
that's I told him, I said, Sorry, you missed the great cruise." I felt like I went on it by myself. Okay, what's up with
Oh.
you? What's your culturally distressed moment?
All right. My culturally distressed moment is so I told you about this amazing dinner, farm to table dinner, and we met amazing people. There was this one woman who was American, and at some point she was like, "Can I like tell you what I think about French culture?" And I feel like when someone tell me that, I have to say, "Yes, please. Yes, I want to hear what's gonna come next. I want you to tell me about French culture."
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, like one of my friends, she's married to like a French man, and like you guys have a culture of like don't ask, don't tell, because like everyone's doing it, but you guys don't talk about it. It's like don't ask, don't tell. And that woman is talking about cheating. Like
Oh,
she's basically saying that
yeah,
that
people.
French culture, yeah, is about cheating and not talking about it. And so I let it slide because like it's not the time and the place, and sometimes I feel like I don't. It's not my job to educate people, and I just want to have a good time. So I'm just gonna like tune it out and be like, okay, let's just move on to the next conversation. But I think there's this fantasy about French culture where we all super open and very sexual, and I think like I think people imagine we're like spending our weekends doing like ménage à trois and stuff like that, which would be so much work, by the way. But like but I think what's interesting is that if you dig deeper, I think there's this idea that if sex is a little less taboo in a culture, which I think is kind of true, like it is true that in French TV shows or movies, like you see a bit more than in American TV, right? American culture is very there's some like Puritan element to it, right? You cannot see a breast on American TV. That's not a problem in French culture. But I think because of that, people assume that, there's this underlying, there must be, if they're like so open, I feel
Mm.
like it's interesting that you had to add something negative on it. And these people must be cheaters, which I think was really interesting in terms of like psyche and,
Well,
um,
just the fact that she's calling it cheaters. I mean, if it's part of the culture, is it really cheating?
is it, no, but, but no, but I think her point. I mean, I guess she was coming from an American perspective, right? But I just don't think that's true. I
I
just
don't.
don't think that people cheat, and I would actually argue that I think there's something also like French honesty. So I'm actually not sure. I think it might. I don't know. Okay, so for next time, I would check some data points. I will come back. I will do a survey or whatever I need to know if there's more cheating happening in France than in the US. So I had to bring it up. But I think overall, I just love when someone, like, it's just so funny to me. That's actually part of my show. Like, I don't do a lot of crowd work. But when I do, I always love to ask about French stereotypes. Just because I think it's a fun thing for me to debunk in a way. It's just so interesting, like having stereotypes on different culture and it is some of them just like have origins from like generation and generation, and people still think that's accurate.
Mm.
So yeah, it's fascinating to me. But I just love the whole thing of like, let me tell you about your culture because one of my friends is married to someone from your culture, so I know about it.
So
Okay.
they know one person. To me, if it's not mean spirited, and if it's all
No, and honestly, like it made me laugh. Like I think at the end of the day, when I have this kind of interaction, I think it's more funny. And to be fair, I think she was a bit drunk, and so no hard feelings against her. I just love that she was in a state when she shared her true self with us. And to be fair, like sometimes I probably have said stuff on the same level. It's like it's just like I'm not trying to cancel anyone.
yeah.
It was just a funny moment and a funny assumption. I think, yeah, a funny stereotype, I guess. I mean, not funny, but interesting, maybe.
But you know something, maybe our podcast is going to help the viewers sort of get some of these cultural stereotypes and misperceptions
I agree.
a little clearer.
I 100% agree. That's the hope, right?
That's the hope.
And I
Service.
that's our mission. And I think on that note, it's probably a good time to wrap it up. So, thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in and listening to our Culturally Distressed podcast. Um, and yeah, just remember to be kind to other people because you never know. They might be culturally distressed. So, with that being said, au revoir.
Sayonara. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. Bye. Be well.